It's January 3rd. I'm sorry, it's January 4th. And I'm off for the next 3 days. It's 2024, so I have time. I have time. I have time. I have time, everyone, as Solomon Chow, to do whatever. You know, I have money in the bank, I have a YouTube channel, I got this $1,000 camera or whatever, the Sony ZV-1, and I can do whatever, you know. This is my general environment, you know, it's suburban New Jersey, and, you know, why not do whatever you want, you know? Why don't I just play video games and watch pornography and do all those, the instant gratification things, you know? And that's where complacency falls in, you know. That's when people act weird. When they have all these micro wins, and eventually they win at some point, they get weird. There's actually a book about this, The Hustler. They hustle all the time to make money, to have work and make money and have different jobs and stuff. They know how to do that. They very well have integrity doing that, but then they unravel their success doing all the bad things because they don't have any values. They don't have any core values. Like, okay, so they have this money. It's their day off. What do they do? That is a very hard question. And if you are one of these individuals who just hustle and grind all the time, but you don't know exactly what the money is for other than feeding your like newly acquired addiction to working and making money, it just sounds fundamentally sound, but when you're faced with this challenge because you feel like you're having a withdrawal because you're on your recovery day or your off day, or for whatever reason, maybe it's like the pandemic or whatever, and all of a sudden your business has to shut down for a week or two or a month or whatever, or maybe there's a snowstorm or a rain or earthquake or whatever, and you need time off, and you're confronted with downtime, and you're just like, I have this free time, what should I be doing? You know, or if you come across, you know, you have so much money you can retire, and then you're like, what do I do now? I was conditioned to work and make money all the time. Now it's just like watch Netflix and chill. So there's a lot of unraveling that goes behind the scenes that no one wants to talk about. And that's probably the next book I'm probably going to read about. Money isn't everything. You know, making money, hustling isn't everything. There just has to be more like core values, like your friends, your family, your community. Is just like, if you don't do, if you're not invested in yourself to be, you know, in that kind of like arena, is why are you really making money once you find out it's all a bunch of bullshit? Everything's a bunch of bullshit. The only thing that isn't bullshit is your own health and the welfare of your household, and beyond that, your small like niche community that you just happen to live in, your neighborhood, just your fundamental neighborhood, wherever you are on this earth, you know, and that's what's important. And if you've just been this grifter, this asshole, just taking money from people left and right, and you have no other identity other than being that guy that no one likes, where do you go from there? Do you have a family? You know, are you constantly like running? What, I don't know. the point of this is I don't know. I don't want to know. I know a lot of like criminals and like sociopaths and like higher up people are like that. But you know, let's just be real here. We're just ordinary people who have 9 to 5 jobs. So it's the perfect time for me to play video games and not give a shit and just play video games like I normally do, you know. I was just looking at the Final Fantasy on Steam. They have Final Fantasy 1 through 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 15, 16, and I don't know, maybe like 17 now. The point is, like, the video games just expand. You know, it's just like a super addiction. You know, you're doom scrolling on the phone. These people, these social engineers, social media engineers, just they know how to play the game. You know, they're very good at their craft, getting people addicted to cheap dopamine hits. So you're always scrolling on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, you know, on social media, and it's a trap. It's a trap. Just like how I play video games and whatever. You always think you're this magical wizard or whatever, and you're leveling up and you're upgrading things. And you know what? After you turn it off, you know, you're gonna realize it's just an addiction. None of it is real. So I always have this sense of urgency to go to I developed a sense of urgency instead just to go to the gym. And I think that's what saved me from going into despair. Is going to the gym. This is blatantly not giving a fuck and going to the gym. I think that saved me from a lot of like engagement in lesser habits, in degeneracy. You know, I could have used my money for alcohol. That's a popular one, or drugs, or you know, prostitutes, or a combination of all everything, or getting like a hotel, even exposing myself to STDs and stuff. And that's what people do with money. It's kind of sad, but that's what happens when people have like extra money in the bank. They engage in naughty things. If you have all this money and you don't have to work, I mean, what do you do with yourself? Are you a mother? Are you a father? Do you read books? Do you acquire knowledge and wisdom and experience to help other people? Or are you a complete motherfucking degenerate who likes to party and drugs and sex, rock and roll? I mean, that's a very good possibility. That's a very good possibility. I don't blame you for doing that, but, you know, since I don't have the luxury to be doing that, nor do I really want to be, you know, in that kind of a cycle, I'm just gonna hit the gym. If you know, I could also be caught up in the cycle of just immersing myself in the world of video games. Is that really the life I want? If shit hits the ceiling fan, video games is not gonna save me. It's just going to mask the problem, you know. So at least going to the gym, you'll still maintain mental clarity and physical fitness and prowess in the event that shit does hit the ceiling fan. So you would be stronger than like 2 or 3 times the average person, and you would be willing. You'd be prepared to work 2 or 3 jobs or whatever should shit hit the ceiling fan. You know, the internet gets attacked, gets overrun by cyber criminals, no one can make money online anymore or whatever, and you just have to go cold turkey and, you know, cash is king on street. And, you know, the only way to make money is working at the supermarket or whatever. Having had the experience of working out in the gym would set you over the top. And your employer will see that you're capable of functioning and that you could put in the overtime for the week. And that's how you can and grow as a human being. As opposed to playing video games and being delusional that you're some kind of magical wizard in the world of Warcraft. Or for those of you who do play World of Warcraft, a warlock. A Doom Knight. I don't even know a Doom Knight's a thing. Anyways, but you get the point. Or you could be the guy that reads a lot of books, which I find is hard as well. Difficult as well as society becomes more sophisticated. You have good times, and good times create weak men. And so you're either going to be a balance between the guy that goes to the gym and reading books, or the guy that just goes to the gym, which isn't as bad as the guy that just plays video games with his, or the guy that reads a lot of books, or girl. The person that reads a lot of books has also a good standing in life. So it's either or. There are three options other than being a complete degenerate or guy that plays video games. Or in Japan, as they call it, hikikomori. You just become so immersed in your own world of video games and manga or whatever the fuck that you become socially isolated and become this person that no one likes. And that could be me. I'm already... I don't need that. So, I'd rather just be the guy that goes a gym rat and have a good, decent looking body and actually be strong, as opposed to the guy that plays video games all the time, who's weak as fuck, who's actually weak, who would struggle having more than one job, and it's just a mess from there. And if shit does hit the ceiling fan, he's just going to play more video games, and that really sucks. So, I'm going to be going to the gym more instead of playing video games. I know there's a Steam winter sale. I'm just going to push hard at the gym, and if I get tired, I'll sleep the rest of the day. And that's what I'm going to do. Or I could have played 2, 3, 5 hours of World of Warcraft or whatever games out there, which there are a lot. I've played many games on Steam, and it's just like one after the other. It's just like, what did I really get out of this shit? What did I get out of this shit? Even money operated the same way. I didn't become stronger. I just developed an addiction. To obtain wisdom and to learn from other people's mistakes. I believe that is a greater pursuit in life than just entertainment or fantasizing that you're some kind of magical wizard or warrior leveling up in the World of Warcraft. Don't be that guy. Why I am more prone to fall into that category, I guess trauma. So I'll do anything in my power to make sure that I be the person that I don't look down on. I can be a functional parent. I could be a functional single man, bachelor at a minimum. I have a good looking car. I would actually argue that you would buy a decent car and spend the money on it and be like perceived well in society, as opposed to going online and playing more video games. Again, it's always about when shit hits the ceiling fan. If you're a doctor and you can't convince people that you're this intelligent guy who has money and who's confident and knowledgeable, then you're fucked. And that's just how it is. You know, that is the grift. And you need every advantage you can get. That's just how the world works. It's unfair. You just have to play by the unfair rules. You could be the smartest guy in the world, but if you're too nerdy and geeky looking and you don't sound confident, people aren't going to believe you. They're more likely going to believe and trust a grifter, a scam artist, than the nerdy guy who actually does know things. It's just a sad reality, but that is true. So, you know, to give you an advantage, you'd rather drive a nice new car as opposed to dilapidated Honda Civic from the 1980s. And just fantasize about playing, you know, Gran Turismo on the fucking PlayStation. You know, and that's another thing. Your clothes, you know, in reality, you know, you have to dress well. Again, with the nerd thing, you're always a level 99 paladin in the World of Warcraft or Guild Wars or wherever the fuck. But in reality, it's just like you're wearing sweat. You're like Mark Zuckerberg wearing jeans and a t-shirt. Like, people are going to pick that up. Unless you're actually Mark Zuckerberg and a millionaire, billionaire, and an outlier. You can do that if you actually are. But if you aren't, for lay people, you need to dress the part, otherwise people are going to know. And people, for whatever reason, always kind of know. It's just a sad reality. You when you're weak, you have to look like you're strong. I've seen this, and looking at it, do you really want to be that guy driving a shitty car and playing video games? I mean, it's actually kind of smart getting a new car and looking good. The alternative is driving a shitty car and playing video games and fantasizing and believing that you're a magical wizard. It just doesn't work. It just I know I used to think like that, but then it just won't mesh well. People are gonna see your car, and you know you're driving a shitty car. It means it says a lot about you. You don't give a fuck about your social life, and people just don't give. You know, this guy doesn't give a fuck. You know. He doesn't give a fuck about his own safety, you know, his potential like wife, his friends, it's just his clients, his patients, his customers. It's a guy, and he doesn't give a shit, you know. You know, so when you don't give two shits, you're gonna be playing video games, and playing video games means you don't give a shit about your reality. You give a shit about your own fantasy world, and that's how it'd be like. It's terrible. You know, when I look back, it's just like, you know, I'm going into school wearing pajamas or whatever. I think it's okay because I'm going to be having fun at home, you know, after school, you know, watching porn and playing Street Fighter. It's just like, no, this is fucking terrible. So, you know, the school can be your Street Fighter, you know. Not like I was bad in either of them, but, you know, just looking back, if I stepped up my game, would my life have been better? That can also be argued that there would be no change. If I had more money or whatever, no change. So what could change? I mean, just buying a home in the neighborhood you desire, having a job that you like more. I don't know. I don't really have any complaints right now, nor do I want to. It's just I have to keep up with going to the gym, staving off of video games, and just spending my time reading books instead. Just because I don't want the bad habit of video games rubbing off on me. I just don't want to be that guy anymore. there's probably a lot of people struggling with the same thing. Like, why would I live in the real world if I can just be this fantasy character? To live a life, to live in the world, like you're driving around, you have to stop at 7-Eleven and Wawa, and you're gonna meet some like shady characters there too. It's just a part of life. I mean, and you're gonna rack up more mileage on your car or whatever you drive. I don't know. My dad did that back then. He didn't play video games, but those are the kinds of things that he did, and I appreciated that he had a sense of adventure and took his kids out, i.e. me, on the road and to see the world. I wish to continue that tradition as a guy to be exploring the world. I don't really want to be the Asian guy that plays Final Fantasy and thinks it's okay. It's just not. I don't want to be like that. And my dad was a pretty bad guy. But that's what you need to do these days to have a woman and to have kids. You need to be a bad guy. I mean, most children are conceptualized in the backseat of a Camaro. Prom mom or high school mom. The nerdy geeky guy does not get the cake. Unless he's making a lot of money. And that's what you have to do. I just don't want to go back down a notch, So if you're going to the gym and reading books, you should be okay. Like in prison, if you're just playing video games and just daydreaming and shit, you're just gonna get fucked. There's gonna come a point where that asshole guy, that jerk off is just gonna start, harassing you, and you better be able to punch, kill him, when he tries to grab your butthole. And that's how it is in the real world. These extroverts, highly extroverted people, or now like cyber criminals online, just like approaching people and trying to like get their money. Or whatever resource, I mean, even their butthole. It's just like, that's the power of the extrovert. They're like that. They need somebody to target, and when they come after you, you're going to be prepared because you're the guy who went to the gym, or if you get fired from your job, you're the guy that read books about starting your own business or marketing or name brands, personal brands and white labels and drop shipping. You're going to be that guy that read all these books about, entrepreneurship or even real estate investment or investing, You don't want to be that guy playing Final Fantasy 1 through 17. I can tell you that much. You won't get much out of it, when shit hits the ceiling fan. Just like now, I'm learning how to YouTube. I know I'm not the smartest cookie in the factory, the brightest light bulb in the factory, but I'm making my effort to do my YouTube and uploading whatever content I come out with. Sometimes I don't even edit. I'm ignoring the fact that I have 1 or 3 views at most, and I'm just doing my own thing. And I've made 6 figures since 2023. My income isn't derived from my online presence. I'm aware of that. I also don't promote my stuff because I didn't edit my videos. I mean, like, why should I? I don't expect, people to watch me. If they do, that's great. If they don't, so be it. But this is just my experience of posting. Like, Ali Abdul went through the same thing when he was a YouTuber and going through medical school. No one really cared about his shitty videos until, it started picking up one day after like making 50 videos that I'm going through the same thing. Just try and make 10, 50 videos, turn the comments off because I know they're all just going to be asshole comments. Some of them aren't asshole comments, but yeah, I just don't want to hear from people. Like, I get it. If you have something positive to say, great. But normally, maybe 1 out of like 10, you get that like super asshole comment. And that's why I have the comment section off. I'm just there to post. This is what I have to share with you, to offer you, instead of the typical guy that just plays video games and watches porn and touches his wiener and spreading his seed all over his bed sheets and shit. And it's just like, for really, like. Once you understand, you are meant for more, and that you're supposed to put effort into your life as opposed to just being a jerk off, you'll start going to the gym. You'll start, dressing up nicer. You'll start practicing being more present. Otherwise, you're just going to continue being that jerk off, watching porn, playing video games, having baggy eyes, and you don't know the difference. You'll never know the difference unless you've gone through these things, And ultimately, you have to make a choice. Are you going to be the jerk off, or are you going to be that guy that people likes? Be a leader. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easier. It's possible. If you don't play video games, if you're not watching porn, you're more likely to be a leader in said XYZ whatever sports team. You're likely to coach or be a teacher or a mentor or even a student or somebody other than the guy at home playing video games. Don't be that guy playing video games. Make sure you like and subscribe. I hope you find your build a life outside of just working or playing video games, because that's important. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. See you next one. Peace out. I'll be at the gym.